There is no shortage of retro 2D platformers on the Vita, and even though it's a genre I love, when I saw the screens for Thy Sword, I wasn't particularly excited. My expectations have been blown away, and I've enjoyed my time with it immensely. So, what's it about? At the start of the game, you can choose to play as the Barbarian or the Valkyrie, and you have to collect 6 magical gems and defeat the Dark Lord who's plaguing the land. Okay, this isn't a particularly imaginative setup, but the gameplay is so much fun that the story wasn't important to me. You visit different areas on the map, collecting gold and defeating bosses to eventually get to the Dark Lord's castle. Each area is split into 5 to 8 levels, and each level is a single screen where you have to defeat all the monsters on the screen to unlock the gate to the next level. Your character can jump, attack and block, and you acquire new weapons and upgrades at camps you visit between areas. I played it on the 2nd difficulty level, which gives you unlimited continues. This was the right choice for my first playthrough, because the game is tough. Well, I think it's tough on your first try and as you learn the enemies and get to grips with the controls, but as long as you're careful, the difficulty is manageable. The enemies do vary, and in later levels when you have bats chasing you around the screen, it can get tricky, but I found by taking it slow, blocking a lot and fighting one enemy at a time, I could normally get through tough areas. The controls worked really well. It's hard to explain, but they just felt right in terms of running speed, jumping and attacking. I was able to move around the screen, dodge or block attacks when I needed to, and taking damage was normally because I missed an oncoming attack or rushed into a fight without concentrating enough. There are 7 boss battles in the game, which are all completely different. They were normally very tough on the first try, but once you figure out all their attack patterns, they were manageable, as long as you don't make too many mistakes. My favourite was the Lich King and Queen, where you had to avoid a spinning ball and chain from the king while avoiding a thunder attack from the queen. I really like when games have tough boss battles that are also fair, where it really is a test of your skill and not the boss being overpowered for the sake of it. And the boss battles here really did feel fair. The final boss was tough, but mainly from the perspective of his hit points. If you can buy a sword that does double damage, you'll do much better. I'm so glad I bought this before I went into the fight with him. The graphics are clearly in the style of old Amiga games, and I loved it. The dark setting and pixel enemies looked great, and really fit the game, as did the ominous music. The sound effects, especially blocking and attacking, were also great. This is a game published by Ratalaika, but you need to finish the game to get the Platinum Trophy. I really appreciated this, and I know this may sound ungrateful, given I've requested trophies in their games to be tied to game completion, but I think the trophies could have gone further. Through the game you can find and unlock new characters for your next playthrough. It's not a long game. My first time through took around 2 to 3 hours, so it would have been cool to tie trophies to finishing the game with different characters. Given the developers programmed these different characters, it's a shame that I predict not many people will use them. For PS4 and Switch players, there's also an option for 2-player local battles, which is really cool. I didn't try it, but I think it could be a lot of fun. Overall, I really enjoyed Thy Sword. It's not super long, but it's a lot of fun, with solid controls, old school graphics that really suit the game, varied bosses, and a good level of challenge. I think it's actually become one of my favourite games from Ratalaika. As soon as I finished it, I wanted to play again with a new character, which is a great sign of a game that just keeps you wanting more. So guys, are you planning to pick up Thy Sword? And if you played it already, what did you think? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.